There's nothing more humbling and inspiring
and attractive
than witnessing somebody be truly and uniquely exceptional.
Except, of course, for their journeys. Maybe it's luck.
Maybe it's genetics.
Maybe it's work ethic.
Scott and I wanted to see if we could discover what makes some of the universe's most incredible humans the successes they've become, and ultimately find out exactly how they became
So good.
So good. How did you do it? How did you do it? You're so good.
Hey, you guys.
Hey, guys.
What's up? How's it going? Another episode.
Another episode of
You're
so good. We're on Scott's deck because it's
another COVID type
another
thing.
COVID day. Another day in COVID America.
We're over 6 feet apart, which is
we
kind
are
of amazing.
A hot tub plus apart right now.
And we have a really, really hot, amazing, sexy,
oh my God, so
talented
sexy.
guest today. Our guest today is an actor, musician, writer, director. He is most known for his roles in Jumanji, Hereditary, and as a kid in Nickelodeon's The Naked Brothers Band. Last year, he released his writing directorial debut, Cat in the Moon, to rave reviews. He's also a musician and a songwriter and is in a very successful band with his brother, Nat. Welcome, Alex Wolff.
What's up, you guys?
How was my intro?
So good. Amazing.
Take,
you forgot about me being an acrobat and a magician.
And a magician, yes.
Yeah,
he does it all.
Most famous for Jumanji and magic.
And
magic and Jumanji.
We thought that before we'd, grill you, we would test our acting.
Right.
Abilities.
I'm not 100% sure if this is like our best idea, but we're going to start this podcast off with a scene.
So excited.
And Mark's going to join.
Yes.
Mark's going to join.
And I have to break the ice by saying the last time I was out by this hot tub, I was very, very, very drunk. So being sober here feels a little weird.
We're going to keep you drinking.
So I'm drinking a little bit of champagne to get back into the spirit of this house.
Yeah, cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, so
I'm sipping lightly, though, because Rozzi was like, please don't get wasted.
I just feel like we've learned from...
Which is not fair because I really wanted you to be wasted on
Guys,
this. And
who
this
we
is like
kidding?
my favorite podcast. I've seen everybody on it, and I want to be your best guest.
Oh my God.
I've seen
That's why I don't want Scott to get completely wasted.
Exactly.
Christina Perry.
Because if I get too wasted, we'll have to like
beatboxing.
cut everything.
Exactly.
But the podcast, The Night is Young.
The night is young. This podcast could be 4 hours. We don't know. This could be a 5-week parter.
For the amount of the rest of COVID, we will be doing this podcast.
Exactly.
To continue. I'm going to sleep here.
Okay, so we decided we'd do a scene from Sex and the City, which is fun because Alex hasn't seen much of it, right? You haven't?
I haven't seen much of Sex and the City, but I've been preparing for this role for my whole life.
And we gave you the lead because you're the only professional in the room.
You gave me the lead.
Okay, so should we tell them what it's from?
Yeah, so Sex and the City.
I was in the
you
school play
Yeah.
version of Bye Bye Birdie. Obviously, you gave me the lead.
Oh, you're ready.
And Alex will be playing Carrie. I will be playing Miranda,
I'm Samantha.
of course.
Charlotte.
And Mark is Charlotte. Mark, Scott's beautiful boyfriend, is going to be Charlotte. I want you all
And
to know
Jacob will be the live studio audience.
Yeah, Jacob, our engineer, will be the laugh track. Wait, I want you guys to know that Mark and I basically wrote this script from memory.
Yes. We worship the show.
No, I know. Mark was like, oh, yeah, I know that episode.
Yeah.
Season 3,
I
episode
personally
1.
watched Rozzi and Mark argue over which
I was like, wait, did
person
Carrie
said
say
what.
pass the salt or did Miranda say pass the salt? Like, we're nuts.
Harry, obviously. No, I haven't really seen the show that much, so I know Samantha's the slutty one, so typecast
It
for
feels
me.
right, yeah. All right, should we...
I deep dove and did some research on Sex and the City before I did this, so I think I'm
Oh
going
my
to nail
God.
this. Just kidding.
You're really a master of your craft.
Yeah. I'm preparing for this for 3 years. I'm now in a cabin in Scotland. preparing.
Okay, should we do this?
Yeah, let's
Okay, so
dive in.
Carrie's also narrator.
And see.
And scene.
That's what you do at the end of the scene.
Oh,
and off to a great start. Sorry, I can't really
Wait.
do my craft if you guys are going to
Lights.
completely butcher it.
Camera. No?
If you think that people say lights, camera, action before you
Maybe
start
in the
acting,
40s.
or maybe never. Maybe in
Okay,
maybe
wait.
in an episode
In 3.
of
Wait,
I got it. Speeding.
Speeding. Sound.
Sound.
Wow, you guys suck.
Back to
No
one.
one says speeding. Speeding. Traffic ticket. Yes, queen. They just shout, yes, queen.
And then...
Okay.
Okay.
When you're ready, bitch.
Open on.
When you're ready, bitch.
Okay, is it... What do they do?
Sorry, can I do my craft? Thanks. Can
Scene
everyone just...
opens on 4 girls at lunch table.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so Scott does know what to do. The next morning at breakfast, Miranda and I wanted poached eggs. Samantha wanted to give us the juicy details, and Charlotte wanted to keep her head from exploding over her Burberry raincoat.
I'm telling you, I don't think a guy's ever gotten me that wet.
I'm going to stop you right there, Scott. Can I give
too
you one?
nervous
I'm going to
now.
give you one pointer.
Okay.
Okay, and don't take it super. Try not to speak
In a
like
British
one of the
accent.
Beatles. Do your best to not sound like the Queen of England while you're doing it.
Can't wait to cut this entire segment from the podcast, but go ahead.
Okay.
The next morning at breakfast, Miranda and I wanted poached eggs. Samantha wanted to give us the juicy details, and Charlotte wanted to keep her head from exploding over her Burberry raincoat.
I'm telling you, I don't think a guy's ever gotten me that wet.
Pass the salt.
Milk.
Ladies, let me tell you about his cock.
Will you be quiet? The people at the next table have a child.
That's their choice.
Miss Hangover's right. Can we lighten up the cock talk till
Fine.
cocktail time?
Fine. I just wanted you to know my fireman was every bit the fantasy I had in mind.
New York's finest.
That's cops.
Whatever.
I think it's wrong to sleep with a man just to fulfill a fantasy.
All the men we sleep with fulfill a certain fantasy.
Or nightmare.
You fantasize of a man with a Park Avenue apartment and a nice stock portfolio. For me, it's a fireman with a nice big hose.
Why are firemen always so fucking cute? Even when they're not that cute, they're still cute. What's up with that?
First, there's a weight limit. Second, it's the hero thing. You see him on that truck,
That truck is hot.
hurrying up to save someone trapped on a burning ledge or something.
Plus, they've got that I'm a good guy look in their eyes. It's that look.
It's because women really just want to be rescued.
There it was. The sentence independent single women in their 30s are never supposed to think, let alone say out loud.
I'm sorry, but it's true. I've been dating since I was 15. I'm exhausted. Where is he?
Who? The White Knight?
That only happens in fairy tales.
My hair hurts.
Charlotte, did you ever think that maybe we're the white knights and we're the ones that have to save ourselves?
That is so depressing.
Is it?
And scene!
That was hard.
Wow.
That was incredible.
I think
Yeah.
we killed it.
I
Great,
think
let
we
me just
killed
pull
it.
up the script from Hamlet and
Let's
start
try
on it.
again.
I think you channeled your Miranda very well, Rossi.
Thank you. I think you
Yeah,
were
Rossi was
beautiful,
good.
Charlotte.
Yeah, you did
Yeah.
great.
Killed it. Rosie
Guys.
fucking killed it. You pulled it from the back.
Who knows? Maybe I'm that brilliant actress in the room.
Well, have you ever seen Wet Hot American Summer? Because you were on that and you were a
Thank
star.
you.
Have you
Seen
seen the
that?
morning show?
Duh. I've seen the morning show. I've seen Wet Hot American Summer.
Have you seen Bones?
Yeah, I saw Bones
Scott is
season 5.
in
that you were on.
Bones.
Season 12, episode 4.
Yeah, I heard you were like this amazing. What was your role on Bones?
I played a member of an a cappella group. And
Stretch. It's really a
Wow.
stretch.
I got interrogated because I was allegedly a
I'm assuming you
murderer.
were British.
I was
in your
British. I
contract.
was a British slut in it. Yeah.
It's in your contract to be British.
Yeah, I can't do other accents.
Wait, can I actually ask you what you feel like what is a great actor? Do you know what I mean?
a good
Like what's
question.
the difference between a mediocre actor and a
Scott.
great actor?
Scott, that makes a
No,
great
I'm
actor.
serious.
Rosie's like, be serious.
I have so
I
many
don't know.
questions.
Honestly, it's like there's an obvious huge bridge between bad and good, but there's this little magical, glittery sliver between good and great that
Like an
I'm,
it
Yeah.
factor.
that I'm chasing.
Yeah.
Or and there's a helicopter passing over to make
Yeah,
sure I
we
don't
have all
sound
the
too
obstacles.
pretentious.
Yeah.
But I do feel like there's this thing where I'm constantly chasing this imaginary purple dragon of greatness, but I don't know if you
Yeah.
ever get there. And I feel like it's really easy to be good. If you can just kind of work and be good. Almost everybody can be good, but there's this little magical place of great that I still haven't really cracked the code of. I think I've had moments where I've been like, oh, that I surpassed something. I don't think there's any type of like anyone that's like a great actor. I just feel like there's people who are coming from a place inside of them versus coming from an imitation of something they've seen or
Interesting.
coming from an idea of something. I think when
It's kind
something
of like
comes
singing.
from them,
I feel
Yeah.
like I don't think I don't think there's an original singer. Like I sing the way my favorite singers sing, and it's a combination. It
Right.
becomes my own thing.
Yeah.
But it's not like I just.
Yeah,
Well, let me stop you right there. You're a great singer.
No, but
You
you know,
are-
but you know what I mean.
You hear Rozzi
I-
sing, you go,
I just
okay, that's
mean-
the great. Why is that great? And other people.
But
you
I
know.
mean,
Yeah.
it's like you're a combination of like I feel like you just said like people see somehow someone else acts and they learn from that and then it becomes a part of them and right.
Yeah, I mean, with singing, there's like different factors. There's like your tone and there's like your accuracy. There's all these different
Right.
categories that you can be like a 1 through 10 at.
Right.
And then it all kind of adds up to make you how good of a singer you are. And I don't know
Yeah.
if it's the same thing with acting. If there's different like areas in acting, like this person's good at crying on command.
I mean, acting is a big fucking mystery that I
Yeah.
just can't figure out.
It's so intimidating to
I
me.
just don't really.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
get it
terrifying.
yet. I don't get it. I never get it. I every time I feel like I'm painting in the dark, and I just turn on the light and see what the hell I.
Do you ever like when you finish a scene? Do you feel like I killed that, or like do you ever feel like I didn't kill that, or like are you right when you look back on it? The times that you thought you killed it, and then you watch it.
I'm almost never right.
Yeah.
Never.
Does
I have
the direct-
no objectivity. I mean, there's times I've walked away and I've just been fist pumping. I nailed that, and then I
Right.
watch it. And I'm like, oh, that is garbage.
Garbage.
But I do know one thing that I always honor is feeling free. And so when I feel not chained down by anything, when I feel like I'm listening to like my body and listening to like what's going on around me and kind of
Like
feeling
flowing.
free. When I'm flowing, that is usually right. I can always feel when I'm a little nervous or when I'm a little trapped in. But no, I mean, it's just kind of, you got to have a great director and a great editor and a great writer and a great thing. You just have to have so many people. It's more exciting, kind of more moving to release yourself of any responsibility for what happens at the end. You just kind of got to feel like, okay, I went with I stuck by my truth or whatever.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
and whatever happens. I felt really good about stuff and seen it, and it's been dog shit.
Yeah.
But I felt like I've watched things and been really proud of it, and people say that's terrible. And I'm like,
Right.
oh,
It's all kind
that
of
felt good to
subjective in a
me.
way. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I felt like there's things that aren't as good that people, are saying, oh, that's your best thing, and I just feel like I have no objectivity. That's why sometimes I'm like, should I even watch my own stuff? Because I just feel like I have no,
Yeah.
I feel like
just no-
singing has a little bit more objectivity.
Yeah.
than
You guys actually have to
acting.
do
Yeah.
something. Acting, when someone can pick up a muffin and eat it on camera and make it feel realistic,
Totally.
I'm blown
Yeah.
away.
Yeah,
you know?
totally. It's true.
But I will say, I'm just gonna like toot your horn for a second. When I
Yeah.
watched Cat in the Moon, the movie that he wrote and directed
Yeah.
and starred in and
Yeah.
carried, when I watched it, there's
I'm
a
gonna try to
scene
listen.
after you have sex with this girl, and you're like talking about your parents, and you just like break down crying, and you're like, "This sounds so stupid," and you start crying. I feel like that to me is maximum good acting. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't get better than that.
I mean,
so.
Scott.
that's the truth. You're insanely good. Like you're unbelievably
guys.
good. It's like it is mysterious. I like use like acting as a mystery. It's like to me acting's like when I see an amazing dancer, I'm like I get it. You spent X amount of hours working those muscles, learning that shape, learning how to physically do that. Acting, I'm like I almost feel like the harder you try, the worse you're going to be. I mean, I don't know, but it just feels like so mysterious to me.
It's kind of about like
Yeah.
getting out of your head. I feel like I struggle with acting because I'm so in my head about
Right.
what my left thumb is doing. at the
Do you
time.
ever
Like,
get in your head? Do you ever get flustered or like
Yeah.
what do
all
you
the
do?
time.
We were talking about this because Scott and I were
Yeah.
saying like if I'm in the studio and something's up with my voice that day, you can kind of make choices like I'll sing a different note. I'll
Right.
I'll
Right.
make a
Lower.
creative choice.
Or I'm raspy
I'll
today,
lower the
whatever.
key.
Yeah.
There's so many things you can do. What do you do if like
Pray.
lights, camera,
you just
everyone's
go-
looking at
just
you?
go, God, I hope this ends up okay. But what I do sometimes before is I'll just do, absolutely ridiculous things, like objectively ridiculous things before I go on, where I'll pretend to be a lion and just.
That's probably smart. Like
then I go
loosen
and
your body.
yeah.
I'll be a puppy, and then I'll be a puppy for an hour, and like people will be like, "Hey, can we go to set?" And I'm like, "Art, art," and they're like, "Oh, this fucking guy."
I mean, that's probably brilliant,
Yeah,
though,
that's
because it kind of
amazing.
breaks down walls. You're like, I'm being fucking crazy, and I'm just gonna do my thing. And like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just try to really humiliate myself. Sometimes on the first take, I'll just really do a bad job, so then I have nowhere to go but up. Like I'll just
Yeah.
really go for it, and but really, I haven't figured it out. I wish I had more answers, but the more I do it, the more of a mystical thing it becomes, and then I kind of get more excited about it. It's sort of like a relationship. The less you try and manage where it's going to go, the more I think you discover. And I've just kind of sworn myself to being completely out of control. And it's interesting when you're directing to just say, well, I'm not going to have any control over this. Whatever the actors do, I'm just going to kind of follow it. And then that's when the magic happens, when everybody feels like they
Yeah.
can just go for it. And yeah.
Watching you, I always feel like one of your like superpowers is you just have unbelievable.
Rozzi's my girlfriend. Okay, let's go on.
Alex and Rozzi are dating.
Let's go on.
And now Rozzi's blushing. Yeah.
I love that you forgot you were gonna say that's cute.
I just had to.
No, but okay, so fine. When watching you and knowing you, I feel like one of your like geniuses is your instincts. Like you read people like you just, it's like I think I was saying it too. I was describing, it almost feels like you're like a dog who can like smell the rain or something. You
Oh,
like
that's
know
so
what's
cool.
coming.
Oh my God,
like
I'm
you
gonna
can
use that.
read minds
Instincts.
and you can, you like know what somebody needs
Thank
from you.
Well, it's interesting you asked what to do when you feel stuck. I think the thing to do is listen. Just listen.
Yeah.
Stop doing things and just listen. Because sometimes the best I ever see actors ever is off camera. When they're not on camera, sometimes they're really listening. They're really
Totally.
not thinking. The second they get on camera, they start doing a circus
Oh, yeah.
act. You know,
Definitely.
and so I just really try and listen. And you know, even if I'm bad or if I've done performances that are really bad, the moments that I've felt the most pride about are when I'm listening to what's happening. And that's just been my thing in life, is when I feel like I'm listening to the world and I'm listening to people. I'm always saying more interesting things and connecting more if I'm just kind of listening to other
You're
people. and
such
what
a good
they're saying.
listener.
Yeah. That's a good trait to have.
I think so. It's
I
really
feel like
hard,
I'm
though.
a
It's
bad
really
listener
hard.
sometimes.
No,
'Cause,
you're not.
I mean, I'm not like a
No.
terrible listener, but like I'll like shell up and like start thinking about what I'm gonna say and then not really fully listen.
Right.
to what someone's saying.
Yeah. Well, I grew up with my dad's a jazz pianist. I mean, my mom's an actress and amazing director and writer, and I always grew up with that. But my dad's a jazz musician, and I watched as a kid. My dad would go in with an idea of a song, and then I would watch him. Okay, see, the bass player is feeling this, so we're gonna groove here, we're gonna go here, and I'd watch him be listening to everybody, and I kind of have taken that and applied it to my whole life. Like
That's
I feel
so
like
cool.
I just kind of listen to everything around me and try and follow that path. And if an actor
Wow.
starts to go one way, the worst thing you do, like De Niro says, like, I hate bedroom actors. I hate actors who go home, prepare their thing in their bedroom. Sometimes
Yeah.
the best thing to do is do all the research, then you get to set, forget it all. You know, you prepared the whole thing holding a cup, then you get there and they go, oh, we don't want you to have a cup. And then you're fucked.
Yeah.
So instead
My
you
voice
kinda-
teacher says that. Jeffrey always says that to me. He's like, we like, I'm kind of like a training nerd. Like I'm a technique nerd with singing, and we'll go over every little part of a song and all sorts of technique. And then he's like, he'll stop me and he'll go, but you know, like the minute you're singing, like forget all of this. Don't even for a second
Right.
think about this. I think that's kind of an important part of. Oh, Nick Cage is calling
Nick
you.
Cage did just call me.
Nicolas Cage?
Nicolas Cage did just FaceTime me.
No
I think
way.
we call him back.
Should we FaceTime him into the podcast?
That would be so funny.
next time.
think he'd
Next
like
time.
That's
Yeah.
so funny. No, but the thing with me is like I'm neurotic in that way where it's like with Bones. If you've seen it, it was a show I
Yeah.
was on. No,
Who
I
hasn't
like
seen you on Bones.
I like
Scott?
I was like, I'm gonna go so prepared that nothing could possibly go wrong.
Right.
So
That's
I've practiced my lines 400 million times, every single inflection of every syllable
Right.
I have planned out, like, which is like not how you're supposed to do it.
Right.
Then you go in and you get freaked out, and I'm trying to do it the way that I planned.
Right.
And it's like it just feels so forced. And
Yeah, but honestly, that's kind of genius. Like, I mean, there is some genius to that. I'm not always a fan of that, but I think doing it 100 times. Sometimes I do it in different accents and stuff. Like, I'll do my lines in every possible way, trying to get it. So no matter what they throw at me, you know, I'll still be able to survive.
Can we get into, obviously I know about your parents, but I think it's really interesting, like, we asked this question on the podcast, who other than you is like most responsible for your success? I don't mean to say
Yeah.
that with your, and like
No.
assume it's
Yeah,
your
yeah,
parents,
yeah.
but I know you have, like you just said, your mom is a actor, she's an actress, she's a writer, she's a director, your dad's a brilliant musician, you just have like art, your brother's an actor, you're just like
hard
surrounded by
workers are in the
art.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that,
I think my parents are the reason that I am still in love with it. I don't really know even what success is. It's such a mercurial thing that it's so random. I just kind of don't even value it. I think like I've gone through so many peaks and valleys of success and failure, and I've done so horrible in things, and I've done so I've really gotten where I've wanted to go. And I guess that what my parents have done is made me constantly not value anything, like except for the work.
Right.
Like they've made me so, okay, premiere doesn't matter, the red carpet doesn't matter, what they ask you doesn't matter, the reviews don't matter, but were you truthful? Were you telling the truth? And I think that is what my parents have done and what my brother has taught me in acting and in music and in pretty much everything in my life.
Yeah.
And I think that if anything's responsible for my success, I think it's just that I've been loyal to myself. Like I remember when I was a kid, like I didn't want to do... Like, I remember they asked me in an interview when I was like 9, they said something like, what's the most secretest thing in your room that you wouldn't tell anybody? Something like People Magazine. I said something like, well, why would I tell you?
Yeah.
Like, I, from the beginning, was kind of a troublemaker and kind of, you know, a rebel and a pain in the ass. But at the same time, I now feel like I come from a place of truth and I'm willing to
Integrity,
take more
yeah.
risks. Yeah, I think, or even if I sell out, I probably do sell out and things like that, but I do feel like I walk away, if I walk away giving a part of myself, I don't care if it's a success or a failure or if people make fun of me or whatever. It's just not as much
'Cause it was
value
you
to me.
and you-
Because it was
yeah.
me. I gave a piece of myself.
Yeah, that's like good
I don't think
advice
you
in all
ever
areas
have
of life.
sold out. I've seen a lot of your stuff, and I don't see a moment. I feel
Mostly in the pornography section.
Right,
when
right,
I did
right.
porn, that
Yeah.
was
like,
when
yeah, that
I
would be
sold out
tough for me to
a little bit.
watch, so I usually avoid.
What was I going to say? Oh, I was going to ask what the most fulfilling part of your work is. Is it being on set doing the acting? Is it the directing, the writing? Like, what makes your serotonin spike?
It's a good question.
It's really good. I think it depends. I mean, they're all different like avenues of serotonin, but the one that I think when you're really connecting with another actor, like Nick Cage just called me when we were acting. I remember there was a scene where I got in the car. It didn't even make it into the movie, which shows just how ridiculous being proud of stuff walking away is. But we did a movie called Pig together. And a wasp is about to sting.
No.
Rozzi. Get away, wasp. Get away. But I remember getting in a car and freaking out. Like I was supposed to be angry, but I took it to 11 and I lost my mind. I saw red. I started grabbing the steering wheel, screaming, just went for it and went into the lines. And I saw Nick's face like, okay, kid. It was like the first day of filming. He's like, okay, kid, we're gonna do a movie. Who knows how it's gonna go?
Yeah.
But you and I, we're gonna go for it. And I remember that look and that feeling of mutual respect that I went for it, even if it didn't work. Just the total commitment. I think that's wow. It feels like I'm actually gonna get emotional. But when I feel like this mutual respect, this feeling of let's make a fool of ourselves together. Let's go down together.
Yeah.
Let's go up together. Let's go down together. But let's share it no matter what. That's the serotonin, whether it's directing or acting or music. I never want to do anything alone. I never want to stand out. Like I never like when someone's like, "Oh, I didn't really like that movie, but I liked you in it." Or I'm like, "No,
Yeah,
fuck
no,
that.
this was
I'm part of it. I am a
This is a
cog.
entity.
I want to be a cog in the machine. I want to be want to be a
Right.
part of it.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. I feel like I get the same feeling when you're in the studio with writers.
Totally.
Sometimes it's like a miserable experience. And
Yeah.
it's like
Totally.
a round peg in a square hole or whatever.
Yeah.
But like sometimes you're jumping around the fucking room and
It's the best.
crying and you're
Yeah.
hugging each other and you're like a #1 on Billboard, our first one, right
Yeah.
after you write the song. Like you
Totally.
just feel that energy.
Totally.
And that's
Yeah.
like, serotonin through the roof for sure.
I feel like for me, like it's similar. Like the moments that stand out to me is like the most fun. Are rarely the ones that seem like the obvious most fun. It's like
Yeah.
when driving home from the studio after I wrote a song that was exactly what I meant to say, like on a walk by myself 3 days after a show when I realize like I can like finally feel it and it's like kind of it's settled. You know, it's or like the drive home from the venue. Like for me, it's all like the little like random moments that feel like the most fun part of the job when it's like
Right.
Yeah.
it's not really the obvious
Well, you
moment.
guys with this podcast, even when you listen to these episodes, it feels like there's a reason that everybody opens up to you and kind of puts their arms back and is relaxed, is because I would say it screams authenticity. It feels like you guys
Thank you.
are so
That makes me
true to
feel really
yourselves.
good.
Ugh, you're so good. Couldn't be a more apt statement for the two
Maybe
of
it's
you
just
Thank
because we're
you.
so drunk and
It's probably
hanging
because I
out.
get so wasted on them.
No, but I was going to ask you what I don't think I've ever asked you what your favorite role you've ever played is.
Oh, that's so nice. That's such a good question. I'd say the two are Cat in the Moon and Naked Brothers Band.
Yeah. Oh my God. I watched.
Oh my gosh.
So I watched a Naked Brothers Band movie the other night, and then I started watching the show. I mean, with Alex. It's like I said, I was like, this might be my favorite movie of yours.
I mean, everything is like, it's like picking your children, you know, every single thing led me to the whatever, and I think maybe Hereditary taught me the most. Maybe Patriots Day was the most emotionally rewarding because I felt like I was
You're
doing
so
something big.
sexy in Patriot Day, and it's so confusing for me because he plays the Boston Bomber.
Oh no.
So it's like so twisted. Like I hate that
That's
you're so
very
hot,
twisted.
but he's so hot.
Well,
in
that's
it.
I think that's a complexity of someone like him, like Joe Garzarnayev, is that he was he was super attractive to women, like super cool.
Yeah,
and
he was being like
this
sexualized
pothead.
a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was the tricky part, is I think he was, you know, they put him on the cover of Rolling Stone looking like one of the Strokes,
which was
you know?
wrong.
That
I
was
thought.
fucked.
It
I
was-
remember thinking that was so weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I agree, but it was complex because nobody knew about the story, and nobody knew about him. No one knew about the whole, you know, the bit of leakage that was happening in college, and that he said some things about 9/11 that were hinting at why there were there were some signs, there were some red flags that people could have maybe paid attention to, and that story was the first story that kind of but I was just thinking that that story, that was really interesting, playing that kid who I felt very strangely and oddly, I hated him with everything in my stomach. I despised him, and I had to completely disassociate myself from all American footage of him or even real footage. I just had to look at really primary sources of his. Like, I have found these iPhone videos of him, and I found these things where he was hanging with his daughter. I had to find a way to empathize with him. And through that process, I realized, unfortunately, he is a human. And I found a lot of these avenues where, like, yeah, I'm a younger brother. I know the feeling of really wanting to impress your older brother. And, of course, I have no way of understanding why you'd want to inflict pain on somebody. But I do know the feeling of a lack of masculinity and a panic that you don't stand for anything and that, you're worthless in the scheme of the world. And so you latch onto this radical ideology. And so I kind of had to get behind that. So in some ways, that was the most rewarding. But Cat in the Moon was the most free, the most exciting thing I've ever done. It was my baby, And Naked Brothers Band was sort of my baby too at that age, I think. Doing something with my family, and I didn't really even realize it was acting. And a lot of people always ask, like, "Oh, are you embarrassed by that time?" I'm like, "No, I'm embarrassed by like the 5 movies after that, where I was like, self-conscious teenager." I'm like. So I stand so
Naked Brothers
by
Band, it's also just like, it's just amazing. Like, I'm not just saying, like it really is. It's like your mom, Polly Draper, wrote and directed it. And it's like before The Office, this like Spinal Tap for kids, like mockumentary about this. It's amazing. You guys like manifested your lives. They weren't famous rock stars when they made the movie, but it's about as if they were this like famous band that do it, like the brothers. And then it's like, sorry, I'm explaining a show that was very popular. People know.
No, you know what I think is amazing about that, though?
But it's just incredible.
I feel like it's
Nobody
a
knows
star.
me on the street from that, really. People like usually just stop and go to me. Because like a lot of people don't know that I was on that show. I like to stand by it.
But I love that your mentality is like, because it's so cliche to be like, oh, I just want to break away from that childhood show. I like hate that. Like it's so embarrassing. Everyone feels that way. But it's so cool that you're like, no, I fucking loved it. I killed it on that show, and I'm grateful to have been a part of it. Yeah. I think that's like a really amazing mentality.
Yeah, like I'm embarrassed by like The Standoff. Like the movie that I did was I was like, I'm embarrassed by like certain other movies when I was a self-conscious teenager. But when I was 9, I had some shit cooking.
Okay, guys, that's the end of part 1 with Alex Wolff. Tune in next week for part 2.